What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius here back here from the video. And this time I'm here with my review of James Gunn's Superman. Superman 2025, the first film in the new DCU. Bro, the DCU starts off with a bang. Kinda. I'll say kinda, okay? Man, I finally saw Superman. It's finally here. I still can't really believe it. But I'm here to give my non-spoiler review. My spoiler review will go up tomorrow. This is purely non-spoilers, man. I got a lot to say when it comes to spoilers. But over the past couple weeks, I've been going through the entirety of the Superman live-action movies, or at least the ones starting from Christopher Reeve. I don't remember. Was George Reeves? Was he Superman? Like, did he have a movie, or was it like I forgot? But starting from the original Christopher Reeve Superman, right? All the way to, through Superman Returns, all the way to Man of Steel, which I just watched like a couple days ago. Rewatched it. The others, like all the Reeve movies and Superman Returns, it's my first time seeing those. But, Man of Steel was just a rewatch. And now I can, without a shadow of a doubt, say, after seeing James Gunn's Superman, that this is potentially my third favorite Superman film. Potentially third favorite. I wanted to walk away from this movie saying, oh my god, this is the Superman movie I've been waiting for my entire life. This is the Superman I've needed in live action. I wanted to love this film, but I didn't love it. I just liked it, It's kind of hard to compete with, the Tyler Hoechlin Superman or Superman Lois because, there's 4 full seasons of that, okay? This is just one movie. But I have to say, coming away from it, I did like David Cornsweet in the role of Superman. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him if all goes well. I think that Rachel Brosnahan as Lois, which it's funny, those two were like my 2 picks, my 2 fan casts that came true. Like when their names first popped up, right? Like, oh, who could play Superman? Who could play Lois? I'm just like, those two. And what are the odds? What are the chances we actually got those two as the pair of Superman and Lois? And I thought they were both great in their roles. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was great. Is he the GOAT Lex Luthor? I don't know. In terms of live action, again, Superman and Lois Lex Luthor, I quite love. But having seen Gene Hackman's finally, may he rest in peace. Gene Hackman's Lex was a little too cartoony for me. A little too cartoony, a little too evil. Talking about like he just wanted to do like real estate schemes and scams and stuff like that. And it's like, really, what we're doing? And Kevin Spacey's followed in that same path because he's supposed to be the same Lex. I struggle to even name his name. Freaking the one from BVS. Who played him? I forgot the dude that played him. Jesse Eisenberg. That Lex. We don't talk about that Lex. We don't talk about that one. That one's trash. Again, yeah, the one from Superman Lois, Michael Cutlitz, was great. I never saw Smallville. I know a lot of people's GOAT Lex Luthor is Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville. I've never seen Smallville. I don't know if I ever will see Smallville. It's a lot of seasons, and once they get away from just being about young Clark and you start introducing all the different Justice League people and stuff, I'm just like, I don't want to deal with all that. But Nicholas Hoult was a great Lex Luthor. You could feel the hatred. Like, he felt more closely to the Lex Luthor from the Justice League cartoons and the Superman cartoon, of course, in terms of just like why he's doing what he's doing, his hatred for Superman stemming from the fact that this dude is so powerful he makes us seem obsolete, right? As humans, it's a Superman. It's a character where like because there's someone that powerful, it makes me feel small. That's Lex, and I love that, and they did that justice, I thought, in this movie. Of course, this film is. How do I get the plot of this film? It's a Superman versus Lex Luthor movie. Is what you came to see. Superman's been at it for 3 years in this, and he does something, as you saw in the trailer. He gets involved with a war between 2 countries, and it's just like, why would you do that? Like, who gave you the authority to do that stuff? And it goes actually pretty different way from what I was expecting. The trailers did a good job at not showing too much of what the story actually is, because there's some things that happen in this that you don't really see coming. You don't predict happening, especially with certain characters that we historically associate with Superman, and we typically know what they stand for, but we find out they may not stand for what we thought they stood for. Wink, wink to people who saw the movie. But yeah, I thought the main three actors, David, Rachel, Nicholas, did great. The Justice Gang, who, Guy Gardner, Mrs. Terrific, Hot Girl. I liked them. I mean, they're like our precursor to the Justice League. There's no Justice League yet. There's the Justice Gang, who work for Maxwell Lord in this, and Lord Tech and Lord Corp, whatever his company is. And I liked them. I think the standout of those is definitely Mr. Terrific, even though I have my gripes about the way they wrote his character and the way they had Eddie Gathegi play the character. And that ties into my gripes about the film in terms of the James Gunn-ness of it all. Like, in the most recent weeks, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, man, I hope James doesn't, make this stuff too silly. Because Superman has always been silly. He's always been corny. But I feel like it's a fine line. There's a fine line to ride. And, at times, I won't even say with Superman himself. Superman himself, how, like, corny he is. Like, he's nowhere near as corny and silly as, like, Christopher Reeve Superman. And that's, like, the GOAT Superman for a lot of people, right? But, like, he's fine. It's when you take some of the James Gunn silliness and campiness and you apply it to other characters, like, say, Mr. Terrific, it doesn't work for me. Mr. Terrific, in my mind, how I perceive him, how I recall him from the comics, like, he's much more of an intellectual, and we do get some of that, but I feel like we get a lot of Mr. Terrific. Like, he doesn't crack jokes, but he has funny comedic moments, and he says certain things. I'm just like, that doesn't feel like Mr. Terrific to me. Kind of feels like, loud black man a little bit at certain times when it comes to him, and I didn't really like that with that specific character. Guy Gardner's great. He feels like the asshole Guy Gardner that we know. It'll be interesting to see him transition to the tone of Lanterns, which we know is supposed to be more grounded, more serious, right? Hot Girl is fine. Like, nothing really special. There's one thing she does throughout the film that kind of gets on my nerves, and you'll know it when you see it. A certain noise she makes. The other characters, from, like, the Daily Planet, Jimmy's pretty good. They give a lot to Jimmy. Actually, most of it they give to Jimmy. Perry White doesn't really get all that much in the film, which kind of sucks. I love Perry. But I thought the film was shot well. Thought the film was written well in certain spots. Other spots, I'm just like, I don't. When it comes to the exposition in this film is rough. There's a lot of just like, oh, well, this character who, they're part of this group, or they did this many years ago, and then, like they kind of rattle off a lot of things about certain characters and certain, like, situations and relationships. They just really rattle it off. And I'm just like, whoa, slow down, slow it down, James. I get it. You're starting a new universe, and you're starting in a unique point. When Iron Man 1 came out, there's nothing else real. Like, we knew of nothing else that occurred before Iron Man, right? We didn't know that Captain Marvel showed up in the 90s or anything like that. We didn't know about Captain America. It was just Iron Man is the start of the MCU, and we're going forward from there. You don't need to know about anything else, any other real big setup exposition stuff. This is unique in that we're starting in the middle of it. We're starting 3 years into Superman. We're starting, I think they say it's like 3,000 years since, like, metahumans have been on Earth. It's like we're starting smack dab in the middle. And there's a lot that they have to catch you up to speed on, and at times it is a bit much. Kind of felt like a Nolan movie sometimes. Some Nolan movies, Nolan just goes. He just goes, and if you get left behind, so be it. There's some of those moments. Like, if I wasn't a comic fan, I can only imagine what non-comic fans were just like, wait, what happened? Who? What happened? What did they just say? What does that even mean? Like, I feel like non-comic fans will get that sometimes in this film. But me having my comic knowledge, I was able to keep up more so than, others probably will. But that's definitely a big gripe of mine. One of the things that didn't work for me, apart from, the humor in certain spots. There were certain times when it came to Superman, though, his line delivery, David's line delivery, kind of didn't work for me. Kind of sounded a little bit, kind of whiny. I feel like sometimes James could have been like, all right, cut, let's try this again, try it more like this. I feel like there could have been a little bit more of that. But that's kind of a nitpick for me. The one thing I will say James did a good job of changing from his usual style. There was not as many needle drops. As you know, in the Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, he loves his needle drops, right? But I felt like he kind of contained it to only a few, or at least only a few that I picked up or noticed, and he just sort of let the score do the magic for him, right? Like he didn't have to rely on, the needle drops as much. It was just get that Superman, get that John Williams, rendition of Superman music in there, and it works. There's a specific moment where it comes on, and it's like the same version from the first trailer with the guitar, the riff. And I guess it's not really a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but the part where the kid, in the war-torn country, whatever, I forgot what country it was, like he makes the Superman flag and he's holding it up and like he's saying, Superman, like come save us. That moment actually got me. I started tearing up. I'm just like, what the I'm actually tearing up here. It actually got me. Because at the end of the day, the reason why I can say that I like this movie more than Man of Steel, for example, is because it really feels like a Superman that gives hope, that inspires hope, that is all about doing good. I felt like with Zack Snyder's version of Superman, he got too caught up in, oh my God, he's a god, he's a deity, he's like Jesus Christ. Too much of that, and not enough about the man, not enough about what it means to be Superman, what it means to be both a Kryptonian and a human being, and having that balance and understanding that, because just because I'm this strong doesn't mean, I'm some god to you guys. I'm just like one of you. I just have a responsibility to do what's right. And I've really felt that in this film, which is why I can say, even though like as a movie itself, it's not perfect, it's not great, I'd say it's really good. As a Superman film, in terms of really getting the essence of the character, it gets an A from me. It gets a thumbs up from me. I think it's a really good Superman movie. Could have been better. Like I said, I wanted to love it, but I did not love it. I really liked it. But I think if James Gunn were to do another Superman movie, hopefully he'd scale back his humor a little bit more. Like his humor compared to Guardians and Peacemaker and that stuff, like he definitely scaled it back. But I need him next time scale it back even more. Even more. That is if he does do the next movie, if they get a second movie, which probably will. Although he said that like the next thing we see Superman in, like the next thing he's writing isn't necessarily a Superman sequel, which led people to believe, oh God, it's gonna be World's Finest. It's gonna be just like last time we get a Superman movie, and now we're getting Superman and Batman together. I hope that's not the case. I think that's all I have for non-spoilers. Like I said, I will make a spoiler video for tomorrow, and I'll go deeper into my thoughts on certain things, on the things that didn't work for me, or any things that did work. Some surprises in the film that I was not expecting. Overall, I'd give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I think that's where I'm selling on. 8.5 out of 10. I was thinking 8, but there's some things that just came to mind. I'm just like, nah, that's an 8.5 out of 10. Again, not, he's not my Superman GOAT. That's Tyler Hoechlin, and I don't think that'll ever be beaten until he gets a few more movies under his belt and I get to spend enough time with him as I did with Tyler. But I think I had a pretty good time. I will definitely be going to see it again. And I think the DCU is off to a good start. It's not off to a great start. It's not off to a bang. It's off to a really good start. And those are my thoughts, man. So let me know your thoughts on James Gunn's Superman. All right, what do you think? If you have seen the film, what would you rate it out of 10? Yeah, if you haven't seen it, will you be going to see it? How excited are you for it? Let me know those things in the comments down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, man. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there, okay? Make sure you also hit the notification bell as well. Leave a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.